Hello everyone, welcome back to Believers IAS Academy Bengaluru. This is the previous year question paper discussion. Today we will be discussing 2024 prelims question paper, that is IR questions. We are done with polity, economy, science and technology, environment, geography. Now the only remaining part is international relations. So we will try to understand what kind of questions are being asked and how you are able to, or how you can use certain tricks or your common sense to answer these questions. Okay, so in IR, all those things, okay, all those events which have any connection with India, or any events which have a huge ramifications at the global level, or anything between the global superpowers becomes very important. And in some times what happens here is this IR questions are clubbed with either geography, either economy, or sometimes rarely polity. These questions will be clubbed together and they will be asked in the prelims type. So you will understand what kind of questions are asked and we will try to answer these questions. So the first question from IR here is, consider the following countries: Italy, Japan, Nigeria, South Korea, South Africa. Which of the above countries are frequently mentioned in the media for their low birth rates? Okay, so straight away whenever the question is about low birth rates, you should go to Japan. Okay, so see the answers where your Japan is present. Option A and option C, these are the probable answers. So B and C, D becomes wrong. And then see the correct other options here. Nigeria, okay, so Nigeria and South Africa are eliminated already. So the remaining answer here is Italy and South Korea. Okay, so recently there have been reports that birth rate in Italy have lowered down. Okay, aging population or declining population. So even the Italy is included in this one. So the correct answer is A, 1, 2 and 4. Okay, this event or this news about birth rate declining or aging population increasing, it is very much used in the news, and that is why in the UPSC this year GS2 or GS3 I guess, in the mains there is a question about population winter. Okay, there is a question about population winter. What is population winter? That is, the birth rates are declining and the birth rates are declining and the death rates are increasing in certain parts of the world, and as a result the working population is on the low, and the dependent population, who are the dependent population? The elders, that is above 60 years, and the youngsters, that is below 14-15 years of age. They are becoming more, and the working age population, that is from 18 to 60 years of the age, they are on the low, and this is having ramifications on economy and all other issues. Okay, so the correct answer here is 1, 2 and 4 only. Nigeria, Africa, these are most of the South Africa are the countries belonging to Africa, South America and South Asia and certain parts of Middle East. These are the countries where there is always in the sense, in the recent years there is a population explosion going on. Okay, meaning birth rate is higher compared to death rate in these countries, and they are going through a phase called as demographic dividend, okay, or demographic transition. So they are on the they are at the positive end of population growth. So here Italy dropped the new historic low below 4 lakh in 2022 as per the National Statistics Bureau, as the population continued to shrink. So the option 1 is correct, and option 2, number of babies born in Japan fell an 8th straight year to a fresh record low in 2023. And option 3 is incorrect. Option 3 is incorrect because Nigeria is not facing low population problem. On the contrary, Nigerian population is projected to grow from more than 186 million in 2016 to 392 million, almost doubled. Okay, almost doubled there. Option 4 is correct. South Korea is also fertility rate is also on the low, continued its dramatic decline in 2023. And in option 5, population of South Africa will increase from 59 to 66 million 2030 and 80 million 2080. So these African and other countries and Asian countries are on the growth, but these Southeast Asian countries, especially these Eastern countries such as South Korea, Japan and North Korea, these countries are on the decline. And question number 12, second question, which of the following statements about exercise Mitra Shakti 2023 are correct? Okay, this is dealing about India and its relations with different countries. So exercise Mitra Shakti, it is a joint military exercise between India and Bangladesh. It commenced in Oudh, Pune. Joint response during counter-terrorism operation was the goal of this operation. Indian Air Force was part of this exercise. See the options here. Okay, see the options here. If you had any idea about India and its military exercise with its neighbor countries, you would know this answer. Okay, exercise Mitra Shakti is related to India and Sri Lanka. Okay, so the statement 1 becomes wrong. If the statement 1 becomes wrong, remove all the statements 1 and your answer here is D, 2, 3, 4 only and 4. So you could answer the question easily. So exercise Mitra Shakti is a joint military exercise between India and Sri Lanka, not India and Bangladesh. Okay, and the 9th edition of joint military exercise or exercise Mitra Shakti commenced in Oudh, Pune. The scope for exercise includes joint response during the counter-terrorist operations, because both the countries are undergoing a terrorist attacks recently. The Eastern Bloods of Sri Lanka in the 2022 and ongoing conflicts with the Khalistanis and terrorists in Jammu Kashmir in India. And 15% from Indian Air Force and 5% from Sri Lankan Air Force participated in this exercise. So these 3 points are not important. If you had an idea about Mitra Shakti and if you knew that it was related to Sri Lanka, you could have got this answer correct. And then question number 17, consider the following: country and the reason for being in news. So another thing is international relation and current affairs. These are most of the times clubbed together and questions are asked. In international relations, there is very rare chance that it is going to ask about static part. Okay, the static part in the sense it will be mapping, that will be asked in the geography part. In IR questions, most of the questions will be from current affairs. Argentina, worst economic crisis. Sudan, war between countries, regular army and paramilitary forces. Turkey rescinded its membership of NATO. Okay, if you have seen in the news, Argentina are facing the worst economic crisis. In 2022, Argentina under Lionel Messi won the World Cup. Okay, football FIFA World Cup. If you had seen the news during those times, many people, more than 5 million people gathered in Buenos Aires in Argentina, and they were celebrating the World Cup win. And many of them were criticizing Argentina because despite going through economic crisis, many people are celebrating. Okay, if you had eyes about these kind of news around the world, you would have easily answered this question. And Argentina is going through inflation rates more than 100% other things. So that is the correct answer is 1. And statement number 2, war between countries, regular army and paramilitary forces in Sudan. This is also correct. So there was a current affairs regarding Hakki-Pikki tribes. Okay, Hakki-Pikki tribes. These are the tribes from Karnataka, and they are famous for this tribal natural oil. Okay, tribal natural oil advertisements you might have seen. Those with the long beard and long hairs, they are advertising. They belong to this Hakki-Pikki tribe. These Hakki-Pikki tribes, around 20 members, were stationed, or they got stuck in Sudan during this conflict. And India got down certain Operation Kaveri. Okay, Operation Kaveri was the operation by Indian personnel to evacuate Indian passengers or Indian citizens or Indian personnel from Sudan. So the pair 2 is correct. Turkey is, it hasn't resigned from NATO, but it is still a member of NATO. So the correct answer is only 2 pairs only. Correct answer is B, only 2 pairs. Because Turkey, even though it is from Asia, it considers itself as a member of Europe and it is a part of NATO because of the fear of Russia. And then question number 18, consider the following statement: Suez pipeline is a strategic route for Persian Gulf oil and natural gas shipment to Europe. Statement number 2, Suez pipeline connects Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea. Which of the above statements are correct? 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 explains the statement 1. The correct answer is option 1. That is, both are correct and 2 explains option A. You should know about this one. It was in news in 2023 and 2022, and it is presently in news also. The Suez pipeline is a strategic route for Persian Gulf oil and natural gas shipments to Europe and North America. Okay, from Middle East to Europe and North America. Statement 2 is correct. It connects, pipeline is located in Egypt and connects Red Sea with the Mediterranean Sea, which works as a strategic route for Persian Gulf oil and natural gas shipments from Europe to North America. Okay, if you had seen my previous class, I had explained about Middle East geography. Okay, in the Middle East geography, in geography discussion, then you would understand this question easily. Question number 49. Consider the following statements. India is a member of Grains Council. India, a country needs to be a member of the International Grains Council for the exporting and importing rice and wheat. This question has already been discussed in economy. Again, I will discuss this. India is indeed the member of International Grains Council. What is the function of International Grains Council is? It will designate a country as either exporter or importer based on the economic trends. If you are importing more than what you are exporting, then that country is considered as importer, and if you are exporting more, then those countries are exporter. So the second statement, a country needs to be a member. Any statement like the extreme statements like this, a country needs to be a member of International Grains Council for exporting and importing wheat, these kind of statements become wrong. Okay, even though if you are not a member of this International Grains Council, you can import and export, because international relation is not like contained by these kind of councils. So the correct answer here is A1 only. And another question, consider the following statements. There is instability and worsening security situation in the Sahel region. There have been military takeovers and coup d'etats in the several countries in Sahel region. So the statement is both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, what is Sahel region? Sahel region is present in Africa. If this is your Africa, okay, if this is Africa, here there is Sahara desert, and here there are tropical Congo basin, etc. This region, okay, here this is savanna. This region, okay, this region is called as Sahel region. Okay, it is arc like and mass lying to immediate south of Sahara desert and stretching east to west. From east to west across the breadth of African continent. The Sahel region encompasses through parts of Mauritania, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Nigeria, Sudan and Eritrea. From Eritrea here to Nigeria here. Okay, this area, and this part of the region was in news recently because of many countries are facing coups. What is coup? Coup is the deliberate attempt. Okay, there is a deliberate attempt to topple that government. Many of the times these coups are a result of military coups. Military, what it does is, the military, because of its power and might, it tries to topple the government which is elected by the democracy. Okay, democratic elections or democratic elected government. Those governments are removed by the military. That is called as coup d'etat. Coup d'etat is a French word for removal of the legitimate government. So some examples are African Sahel region has witnessed a wave of coup in the detailed in 7 countries: Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Niger, Gabon, while 2 other nations, Chad and Sudan, had constitutional coups recently. For instance, Mali had 2 coups in 2020-2021. Burkina Faso also had a coup in 2022. In July-August 2023, Nigeria experienced, or Niger is different, Niger is different, they are experiencing military coup. So the answer here is A, both 1 and 2 are correct. Okay, it is going through certain crisis, and it is going through conflict related fatalities in these countries, and the conflict here is military coups. Okay, this is again IR from current affairs basis, and then here it includes IR plus geography plus current affairs. They are not asking about a particular country here, they are asking about a region. The region here is Sahel region. You can answer this question only if you know where Sahel region is present. For that you need the geographical understanding of the map. Okay, geography, and they are saying a particular event is happening. For this you need to have an understanding of current affairs. Only then you can answer this IR question. And then consider the following statements. India does not import apples from United States of America. In India, law prohibits the import of genetically modified food without approval of competent authority. Okay, so here it is mixing economy plus IR. Okay, So here the answer is D, because statement 1 is incorrect. India does import apples from United States of America. If you go to any high tech, okay, very high costly or posh marts, okay, high or posh marts, you can see apple from USA also. Okay, so they are importing apples from USA. So India does import apples from United States of America. Recently India decided to remove additional duties on import of 8 US products including apples. The import of apples from USA was value at 5.27 million in the financial 2023. In India, genetically modified food can be imported only with the approval of competent authority. Impact of import of food products is regulated under FSSAI Act, that is Food Safety and Standards Act of 2006. Meaning second statement is correct, that is you can, okay, the law prohibits genetically modified food. It can be allowed in India only with the approval of competent authority. The competent authority here is FSSAI. Okay, here the distinction has to be made. Genetically modified food and genetically modified crop. Genetically modified crop or any organism or anything is dealt by GEAC, that is Genetically Engineering Appraisal Committee, whereas food, it is done by FSSAI. Okay, if the question was about approval of competent authority or approval of the GEAC, then this question would have been wrong, because it is asking about food. If the question was about genetically modified food with the authority of FSSAI, this statement would have been right. Understood, right? So this is about this question. And then consider the following statements. 1. European Parliament approved the Net Zero Industry Act recently. European Union intends to achieve carbon neutrality by 2040 and therefore aims to develop all of its own clean technology by that time. Here again, IR plus economy, IR plus polity plus environment and ecology. So it is a combination of these three. It is asking about Net Zero Industry Act recently. There was an act which was brought by European Union called as Net Zero Industry Act. So statement 1 is correct. Here the answer is C, that is statement 1 is correct, meaning they have already passed the Net Zero Industry Act recently, but this aspect, that is by 2040 and aims to develop all of its own clean technology by that time. This time period is wrong. That is, the time period is 2050 and not 2040. What is carbon neutrality? Carbon neutrality is whatever the greenhouse gases or whatever the carbon you are emitting, you are absorbing the same amount of greenhouse gases. Okay, whatever the amount of greenhouse gases is emitting, you have to absorb the same amount by use of clean technology or by afforestation or by carbon sequestration or carbon capture storage methods, etc. Anything it can be. That is carbon neutrality. But the time period here is 2050 and not 2040. So Act sets a target for European Union to produce 40% of annual needs for net emitting technologies by 2030 based on the national energy and climate plans. By 2030 it should be 40%, by 2050 it becomes complete climate neutral. And then question number 7, okay, whenever there is an extreme statement like this, okay, use the common sense. Achieve carbon neutrality by 2040. Okay, such a European Union, which is an industrially developed country, developed continent, is it going to achieve carbon neutrality within short amount of time? Okay, it is going to take time. So these kind of questions can be used with answered by the use of common sense. So this extreme statement becomes wrong here. And then consider the following statement. Recently, Venezuela achieved a rapid recovery from its economic crisis and succeeded in preventing people from fleeing or emigrating to other countries. Statement 2, Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. Okay, so see, even before you know these answers, the statement 2 cannot be the explanation of statement 1. Okay, it has world's largest oil reserves, but that doesn't mean that people stop fleeing the country. Okay, so here the statement 2 cannot be right, statement 1 cannot be right, statement 2 can be right, but the answer, if you have recently seen the news about South America or any news for that purpose, there has always been debate about Venezuela. There was a leader called as Maduro, who was leading in Venezuela. He was a kind of dictator in Venezuela. He was leading, like it was a communist government. All these oil reserves, despite having the world's largest oil reserves, they were one of the poorest countries in South America because of policies of this Maduro. Okay, he was the president or prime minister of Venezuela. Because of them, they were like undergoing economic crisis. The inflation was around 300%. Okay, 300% of inflation. So many people started fleeing the country and started running into like USA. Even now the crisis is going on in Venezuela. So the statement 1 is wrong, but the statement 2 is correct. It has one of the largest world's largest oil reserves in the world, more than Saudi Arabia, Qatar, etc., Middle East. But the problem here is they do not have the necessary resources for completely utilizing these oil reserves. Okay, they are always in conflict, and especially whenever there is a oil involved, like USA has a role to play in it, and USA here is also having the role in toppling Maduro government. And then question number 8. Okay, question number that is 74. Consider the following statements regarding the World Toilet Organization. We already discussed this one, but we will have just a general discussion. Again, World Toilet Organization, it can be either environment and ecology, or it can be international relations. It is one of the agencies of United Nations. Who are the agencies of United Nations? Okay, United Nations has two things. One is organs, and then is agencies. Okay, in organs you have United Nations Security Council, United Nations Trusteeship Council, United Nations International Court of Justice, and these are the organs. Okay, and agencies are different, such as World Health Organization, Food and Health Organization, FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization. These are the agencies. Okay, if you have any idea about United Nations agencies, you might have heard about World Toilet Organization, but since you have not heard about World Toilet Organization, it is not an agency of United Nations. So it has a consultative membership observer status in United Nations, but it is not an agency of United Nations. So whenever there is option 1, you can remove that one. World Trade Summit or Toilet Summit, Toilet Day, Toilet Colleges are the initiatives of the organization, and this is correct. 3, function of it is to grant funds. Okay, grant funds to the least developed countries and developing countries and developing countries to achieve, underdeveloped countries to achieve the end of open defecation. Yes, it provides policy recommendations, it provides suggestions, it aims to achieve end of open defecation, but there is no provision of granting the funds. Okay, it doesn't grant funds, so this statement is wrong. So the correct answer is 2 only. Okay, that is World Toilet Organization. And 76, which of the following is correct about 100 million farmers? We already discussed this one. It is a platform for accelerating the transition towards food and water systems that are net zero, nature positive, and that aims to increase farmers' resilience. So this is the correct answer. In these questions, you either know the answer or you don't. Okay, if you are sure about these questions, then only answer it, or else better to skip these kind of questions. Okay. So all of them talk about farmers only and agriculture only. So it is very difficult. In certain questions, the 3 will be similar to each other. Those kind of questions you can eliminate and use the answer question. But here all of them are talking about agriculture and farmer related only. So it becomes difficult to eliminate the answer. So if you know the answer, you can answer, or else you cannot answer this one. So this ends our discussion of 2024 prelims questions. If you have any doubts, do write in the comment box. We'll discuss in the coming classes. If you have any suggestions for me, you can also write in the comment box. If you like the video, if you got anything out of this video, do appreciate the video by liking it, commenting on it, and also sharing with your friends. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.